Wow, January is already over, and wow, that went by quick. And I am going to rank all five January 2025 releases that I saw from the worst to the best. And coming in fifth place, we have Back in Action. And this is just another one of those average Netflix movies that you've seen a million times. Like, there's nothing unique that stands out about it. It's not bad, it's just okay. Like, I like Jamie Foxx and I like Cameron Diaz, but there's just not really that much substance here. Like these parents who used to be spies and now they have to go back into action. It's the kind of movie that you've seen a million times. And Netflix specifically, they have this formula that they basically perfected because I'm pretty sure this was a huge hit on Netflix, where it's perfectly watchable, but it's just not memorable. And they add the movie stars in there. And like I said, I like Jane Fox, I like Cameron Diaz, but just the plot and the characters is just not interesting enough. And coming in fourth place, we have Wolfman. Now, I I didn't think this movie is as bad as everyone says it was. I thought it was okay. I still think that there's some stuff to like here, but I think just the overall problem is one, it's just kind of feels boring, which you could have a slow burn horror movie and it could work. I mean, look at Barbarian. But here it just feels too slow. In the Wolfman design, like it never even looks like a Wolfman. And I just couldn't help but think, like, what are we really doing here? There's an interesting family dynamic here, which is what I think what puts it above a movie like Back in Action. But there's like similar to Back in Action, there's not that much substance outside of the family dynamic. And the Wolfman himself, we there's just not a whole lot of him, unfortunately. And when he is there, he just doesn't look like a Wolfman. There's just not much here. But like I said, I don't think it's as bad as everyone says it is. I thought it was okay, but it's just kind of boring, which is unfortunate. Like you have a movie about a Wolfman, it shouldn't be boring, but here we are. And coming in third place, this is pretty big leap up in quality, is Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul. And this is basically my introduction to Wallace and Gromit. Like I've always known who they are, but I've never seen any of their movies. And I really liked it. I really dug the stop motion animation. Just loved seeing just how silly and fun this world is. These characters are just so much fun. I'd say my only main problem with it is this movie feels like a direct sequel to a movie I have not watched. And I'm pretty sure it is. And if you guys know, please tell me in the comments below. But that was my only real problem with that. Outside of that, like, I loved just the atmosphere of it. I liked the characters. They were a lot of fun. And it just, like I said, this movie's just a lot of fun. I liked seeing, I mean, in this case, like, Wallace basically being completely clueless and like using, and there is another interesting plot here of when Wallace invents this gnome to basically have Gromit have more time off and basically have time to himself, because this gnome basically does all this the chores for him. It kind of feels like Gromit kind of feels left out because he liked doing that stuff. He liked the gardening. And so and then eventually, like, kind of gnome turns evil, and the penguin disguised as a chicken, Feathers McGraw, and it's just a very fun movie. Like, I think that these characters are just charming enough that even when the plot isn't super compelling, just being around them is fun. And with the stop motion, just quickly grew on me. And even like we have a side character of the police, of a police officer just trying to move up in the ranks that was just very fun and very engaging. And so even the subplot and side characters were just really fun. And coming in second place, we have One of Them Days. And this movie, simply put, is just really, really funny. I mean, I think that both Keke Palmer and SZA are just hilarious in this movie. And it's also kind of feels like with comedies, I mean, comedies only have one job: to be funny. And this movie was very, very funny. I thought it was consistently hilarious, where these two girls, it's basically two broke girls but as a movie. Not exactly like that show, but just the concept. These girls owe rent money by the end of the day or else they're evicted. And it's just them doing wild things, whether it's going to a blood bank or just other crazy, like applying for, like, basically getting scammed. And this guy is standing out saying, do not do this. They say, oh, they'll pay you whenever you want. And he's like, this is a scam. Get out of here. And it's just, that's what makes this movie great. It's a comedy movie, and it's just very funny. It does its job. And I think that also this, between Keke Palmer and SZA, they both have just, they have a great chemistry together. And also, there is a, there, I would say there is like a character arc, and there is like a inner turmoil, because throughout this movie, Keke Palmer's character is trying to get this job, and then her friend is kind of messing it up, almost kind of messes it up for her. She has to leave to go help her friend at a certain point. And then you have that stereotypical, like, third act breakup. And then they get involved with, like, this gang. And so they owe money to this gang as well as owing it to their landlord. And it's just hilarious. And, like, throughout the course of the movie, you're kind of just making different enemies. And like I said, just the scene in the blood bank is hilarious. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, like I said, it just does its job. It's a comedy movie, and it's very funny. It gave me exactly what I wanted. So yeah, definitely check this one out. But coming in at number 1, we have Companion. I really dug this movie. This is definitely my favorite movie of the year. I mean, obviously, favorite movie in January. January's first month of the year. But this movie, what I liked so much about it was this also just kind of had a little bit of everything. This movie was very funny, but, and I wouldn't really say for a horror movie, it wasn't it wasn't scary, but it was definitely creepy. I mean, with this whole premise of basically Jack Quaid's character hiring, like, robot girlfriend, and just that whole underlying subservient tone that just is so sickening. But like I said, it's also very funny, and it's very creepy. It just does its job. And like I said, I think what this movie does so well is almost just showing, like, even though we're following a robot, we are able to connect with her. We're able to feel for her. And after, like, what Jack Quaid's character is doing to her, that is just so terrible. And we're able to just empathize so much with this robot. And you want to see her win. And it's one thing that's great, like how she almost, because in this movie, like, she has this, like, I don't want to go into too many spoilers. You could watch my review if you want to know. But of her basically learning the mechanics of herself and using that to her advantage, it's just great. So yeah, this is definitely my favorite movie of January and favorite movie of the year so far. See, that was my ranking of all the movies that I watched in January of 2025. Let me know your ranking in the comments below. Leave your list of every movie that you watched from every January 2025 movie that you watched, ranked from the worst to the best. Leave it in the comments. Comment what you thought of my ranking, and leave a like if you enjoyed my ranking, and subscribe for more rankings and reviews.